This is Psalm 17 and 13. Arise, O Lord Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. I like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Haloim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone and the like-minded brothers. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that's scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aqua that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab. I'm Juan back at you with another lesson. And as always, all right, going into another exhortation. All right, you see the title, FEMA camps and guillotines. All right, and the inspiration comes from a video that a beloved brother sent me out there in Australia. And it's called FEMA camps and guillotines. All right, I'm gonna play it. It's 13 minutes long. All right, I'm gonna play it out, and then I'm gonna grab a couple of scriptures and close out. All right, but you have to understand that these things are here in America. Okay, FEMA camps and guillotines. Okay, which is gonna explain to you. All right, but before I go ahead and start. All right, it says right here in the beginning of the video, it has a picture of, I believe his name is Henry Kissinger. Yeah. Says August 29th, 2014, says the plan. It says today's Americans, all right, let me just grab that. All right, it says it right here. It says today's Americans would be outraged if UN troops entered Los Angeles to restore order, right? And we've been saying that for years, man, that when these real martial law troops come, they're going to be UN troops, all right? And you have to understand that these UN troops, all right, they all hate Americans, man. They could care less about Americans. So when they come, as the scriptures say, they're going to be like madmen sparing none. Second Ezra, the 16th chapter, verse 70, right? They're going to be like madmen sparing none, okay? And that's going to be in the way of these martial law troops, okay? So it says, today Americans will be outraged if UN troops enter Los Angeles to restore order. Tomorrow, they will be grateful. This is especially true if they were told there was an outside threat from beyond, whether real or promulgated, all right, that threatened our very existence. It is then that all peoples of the world will pledge with world leaders to deliver them from this evil, all right? And at the end of the day, all right, that's why I opened up with the precept that I did, all right, because we pray to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai that he protects us from all evil, all right, from these wicked elites, you know, as the scriptures say, you know, we want to be girded up, all right, with this truth, all right, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, demons, right, against darkness and the rulers of this world, all right, which are these elites, these top banking families, all right. And it says, and against spiritual wickedness in high places, right? So these devils are constantly doing all types of, you know, witchcrafts and sorceries, all right. But the ones that rule this world, all right, as the scriptures say, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, okay. So by the earth given into the hands of the wicked, let's grab this precept real quick. I'll grab two precepts. This is Micah 2 and 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. You see, talking about these elites, all right? So all these evil plans that they think about, all right, or that they come to accomplish, all right, is because they have the power, all right? As the scriptures say, Esau, in Revelation, the 6th chapter, Esau was made to take the peace from the earth. He was given that blessing of the sword, all right, to kill with the sword. And that's what he does. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. All right, let's grab Proverbs 4 and 14. It says, enter not in the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto that perfect day. Okay. And, you know, that's what we hope for, man, that the Lord have mercy upon us, right? And that he bring that day of light, okay, which, you know, he's bringing that day of light upon us every single day by giving us this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, all right? But the day of light, all right, is going to be when we be beamed up into them chariots, man, and get the hell up out of here. And the Lord YAHAWAH'S establishes righteousness upon the earth, okay? So with that being said, let's go back to this video and let's play it out. All right. Matter of fact, let me read the rest of that part. So it says, Henry Kissinger, in an address to the Bilderberg meeting at Evian, France, May 21st, 1992. All right, so let's play this video.
And if you look at the FEMA camps in Fairbanks, Alaska, it can hold up to 2 million people. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And in these FEMA camps, you have guillotines. It's not Hawaii. There's a law that was passed in Georgia in 1995, which mentioned that guillotines are on American soil.
30,000 of them. And I'm sure that was back then. How much was back then? Year 2020.
So we're talking about 25 years ago. So this is what, and why this martial law?
Which we have more than that, all right, because you had, I believe, 2021, 22, around there, did a video on that time on it. You had, I believe, was it President Obama that was in there? Was it? Let me see. Yeah, it should have been, yeah, around 2021. Yeah, because this guy only did 2 years, Biden, right? So when you had Obama, all right, it was sometime when Obama was in presidency. So it might have been 21, 20. All right. So he had ordered, I think it was 60,000 guillotines, which they're going to mention in this video 30,000. All right. But I believe it was 60,000 that they ordered under President Obama. All right. Or it might have been Biden. All right. Regardless, it was ordered, and they were giving, I think it was 600, close to the number 666, but it was like 660 something guillotines per state that they were giving. So they're out here. Okay, they've been out here. They got them in the cut, you know, for the time to come. All right, and they're gonna use these in FEMA camps. They're gonna use these in the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, and they're really meant for the Lord's men. You see, for the men of the Lord, which I'll grab that precept in a second. All right, but let's play the video.
What's going on in the United States? There's so much chaos in the major cities. We saw what happened in Minneapolis, Seattle, Portland, and other cities as well. You had I believe the National Guard that was brought in. It's just a test. It's a foretaste of what's going to happen, regardless of who the president will be in November. Who's going to be elected?
The most wicked one would
it be Trump or Biden? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's going to happen. You'll have martial law. You'll have FEMA camps, and then Sunday laws will come. And that will be the mark of the beast. And speaking of guillotines, if you think this is not real, listen to this. Another Democrat, volunteer by the name of Chris Jacobs, was caught by Project Veritas and their leader, James O'Keefe, a brilliant man who catches people in their words. And Chris Jacobs said that he supports Guillotines.
Chris Jacks, is that seat taken? How you doing? This is you on hidden camera talking about the need.
Before I go on, let me see. Because I think I'm wrong with it being Obama. When was Obama president? Okay, so he was in 2017. It did happen around that time, though. He ordered some too. So it was Trump that took over that. When was Trump president? 2017 to 2021. All right, so it was under Trump's order that it was brought here. And I forgot about that because then Biden came and then Trump came for the second time. So, yeah, but also when Obama was in presidency, they did order guillotines, which it might be. This is what they're speaking about when they bring out the 30,000. All right, it might have been under Obama's ruling. Okay, so you know there was another time where it was mentioned about 60,000 guillotines that were ordered, and it was 660 something to each state. Okay, so let's just continue on. Oh man, I had to do that.
Catches people in their words, and Chris Jacobs said that he supports guillotines.
Chris Jacks, is that seat taken? How you doing? This is you on hidden camera talking about the need to change the country with violence.
It's going to take a strategic hit against the one person that's in charge.
2020 is a political revolution. I am going to do everything morally acceptable to win.
You guys are amazing. You guys are truly unbelievable.
Can I quote you?
When you ask somebody a question, what would it take?
I will lie, I will cheat, I will steal, because that's morally acceptable in this political environment.
Why do you think that's morally acceptable in this environment, to lie, cheat, and steal?
I am a member of the Democratic Party.
What positions are those?
I'd rather not get into it.
And I was going to say the reason it's okay for them to lie, steal, and cheat is that's what Edom does. All right. They always were ones that lied, steal, and cheat. Okay. Scriptures talk about woe to the bloody city, right? That's built on robbery and lies. Okay. So everything here was built on robbery and lies. Okay. Built off the back of slaves. You see, scriptures also tell you that the wicked are estranged from the womb. Soon as they be born, they speak lies. You see, that's in Isaiah. Okay, I think it's the 58th chapter. All right, then you got John 8:44. All right, you are of your father the devil, which that was speaking to our people acting like Esau. All right, but it says you are of your father the devil, right? And the lust of your father you will do, because he abode not in the truth. All right. He was a liar and the father of it, roughly paraphrasing it. All right, speaking about Esau, he's a complete liar. He's all about bloodshed and violence. Okay, so that's why these Edomites have that mentality that it's okay to lie, steal, and cheat. Okay, because that's their natural nature. That is their characteristics. Okay. Scriptures also talk about how they speak vanity, all right, and mischief, and that they speak fraud through their lips, basically, you know. So that's all that comes out of this devil's mouth is lies.
Because it has nothing to do with what I'm trying to say is, yes, I will lie to people who lie to us. I will cheat people who cheat us.
Well, how do you cheat? What type of cheating are we going to be doing in this election?
I can't answer that question. What is your name?
My name is James O'Keefe.
I've heard of your name.
I'm quoting you here.
And I'm
on tape.
To you. You're absolutely right.
Thank you.
That's all I gotta say. Option A, what I'm proposing. Option 2, slicey boys.
Why the obsession with guillotines?
It is a readily known symbol for anybody who has been in any sort of political and revolutionary time.
We didn't put these words in your mouth.
You're right. You asked the question.
We have the tape.
So they want it for anyone, basically. They want it for anyone that's basically against the government. That's what is made. That's what they have them for. all right? And who's going to be the ones that's against the governments, all right, against the society, against the image of the beast that's being portrayed upon this earth, all right? It's going to be the men of the Lord starting first and foremost, and then the men, women, and children that are followers, you see? So this is what they're setting it up for, man. They're setting it up for Yahweh Bashim Yahawa's people, okay?
So,
And I stand by everything that I said.
do you work for McCorkle?
No, I don't work for anybody. I'm a volunteer.
Let's read what that says.
All right.
What's your position?
It says, hold on.
Dictionary talk.
We didn't put these words in your mouth.
You're right. You asked the question.
We have the tape.
And I said, you're
We
right.
have the questions. We'll
You're
play it.
right.
So,
And I stand by everything that I said.
do you work for McCorkle?
No, I don't work for anybody.
It
I'm a
says-
volunteer.
It says, Christopher Jacks is chair of our Revolution Weld County and a member of the Colorado Democratic Party Executive and Central Committees. As a passionate climate activist, Christopher is pushing for the proportionate responses to the threat of climate destabilization. All right. He is a husband, a father, and a Colorado outdoorsman. Yeah, he's a cunning hunter. Is that not the characteristics of Esau? You see, he's a man of the field. All right. Jacob is a man of tents that dwelled in tents. You see, he was a man of the field. So that's what this nigga is, an outdoorsman. You see him out there shooting moose and shit like that, man. Okay. And then it says that he is pushing for the proportionate responses to the threat of climate destabilization. That word climate, they use a lot of that word climate connected with depopulation. All right. Because they'll try to say, you know, we need to depopulate a lot of people because of climate control. You know, too much oxygen is being used in the earth, and you know, we have to control the climate and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I did a video on that a while back also, you see. So you got to know when these devils speak, what they're really speaking about. Because they try to use all these little fancy words and, you know, these words that throw our people off. Because why? Most of our people are fucking uneducated, man. See, that's why the Lord said, because thou hast rejected knowledge, right? I also reject thee, you see. So our people is literally truly destroyed from the lack of knowledge, and ultimately Yahweh Bashim Yahawa's knowledge. All right, but just knowledge in general. You know, our people don't even have simple knowledge of things of the world. All right, it's important that you know the knowledge of these damn devils, the shit that they use, so you can understand their lingo. All right, when they're speaking onto you, man, because they like to speak in code, but tell you directly to your face these things, man. And because you're not used to their lingo, you're not down with their lingo, you're not one that's you know, learning their lingo. All right, it goes right over our people's heads. You see?
all right.
What's your position?
No comment.
Who on earth, with a right frame of mind, would support guillotines to kill people? Because it's coming. He's the chair of our revolution in Weld County, Colorado. So he's advocating a revolution, he's advocating guillotines. What happened in France in the late 1790s, it's coming to the United States. They already had the guillotines. Look, it's not fear-mongering. Check the law that was passed by the Georgia legislature.
Yeah, so it says Georgia House of Representatives, 1995 to 1996 sessions. HB 1274, death penalty, guillotines provisions. All right, code sections. It says a bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 2 of Chapter 10 of Title 17 of the official, right? Of the official. It says Code 1-2, Code of Georgia enunciated relating to death penalty, generally so as to provide a statement of legislative policy to provide for death by guillotine, to provide for the accessibility to repel conflicting laws and for other purposes. Okay. Section 1-8, it says the General Assembly finds that while prisoners condemned to death may wish to donate one or more of their organs for transplant, any such desire is thwarted by the fact that the electrocutioner, all right, makes all such organs unsuitable for transplant. Okay. It says the intent of the General Assembly in enacting. Yeah, I can't read the rest of it. All right, but that's a piece of what the law is. Okay.
Legislator in 1995. We need to get ready. We need to obey God in everything.
Now it says U.S. government purchased 30,000 guillotines.
2013, and the U.S. government has recently purchased 30,000 guillotines.
So yeah, there you go.
Yes.
So in 2013, you had President Obama in rulership. Okay, so it was under his rulership that the 30,000 was given to the United States. 30,000 guillotines. And like I said, when Trump was first in presidency, his first term, all right, there was another amount that was ordered, and I believe it was about 60,000. All right, and they said that each state was going to receive about 666 guillotines per state, something like that. All right, so you could do the math and break it down yourself. 50 states, okay? But see, this shit is coming. So our people, the great persecution, man. And this is the things that we have to, we have to get ready for, all right? And we have to continually stay prayed up that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai have mercy upon us and protect us in those days, man.
Right there. Now, this was lobbied for by Congress, and it passed. You have to ask yourself if all the beheadings of the Muslims that they're pulling off, well, the Muslims beheading people all across the place, if this isn't to try to desensitize the U.S. for future events. Because as the information comes out, it looks like 15,000 are being currently stored in Georgia, and 15,000 currently stored in Montana.
And it's no coincidence that all these Muslims, right? All these, basically all these Muslims are at the forefront of all this extra shit that's going on right now. You see, because they're going to try to deem us as Muslims, man. They're going to try to say that we're connected with these Al-Qaeda, Iran, these Iraqi ass niggas, man. You see, they're gonna try to tie us in with domestic terrorism along with them. Okay, because a lot of us got beards, and nowadays, even when I'm on the highways and hedges preaching the word, they look at my beard and they think I'm Muslim. They think I'm one of these Iraqi ass niggas, man. So it's just that much easier for them to try to deem us as them, as domestic terrorists, how they're deeming them. Okay, a lot of them wear head wraps around their head. Brothers go out there on the highways and hedges, and we got our head wraps on. You see, got the beard, so we look the part. Even though we're not even close. All right, but see, that's how Esau does, and he moves, man. He'll try to take something like that and tie us into it. All right, and that's how we're going to be deemed as domestic terrorists also. Okay.
Now, you need to go and research Rex 84.
Which,
get caught up.
Let me read that real quick. I'm not even going to read what's on here. I actually screenshot it. All right, what Rex 84 meant. Okay, Rex 84. Real quick, let me just grab it. It says Rex 84B, short for Readiness Exercise 1984 Bravo, was a classified scenario and drill developed by the United States federal government to detain large numbers of United States residents deemed to be national security threats. You see? And what did we have not too long ago? We had Donald Trump say on national television that there was an enemy within, that we were a threat. See, that enemy within is us so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, right? And those that are pushing the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. See, we're the threat to society because we're the ones that's speaking this place into destruction. We're speaking everything into existence, all right? And as the scriptures say, after 2 days and a half, right, that we will be raised up on the third day, and their great fear shall fall upon them. You know, which that goes into a 350-year period. All right. So you have to understand, right, that they are tying all this back to us at the end of the day. Okay. So it says the national security is going to be us, the national security threat. It says in the event that the president declared a national emergency, the scenario envisions state defense forces rounding up to 500,000 undocumented Central American residents and 4,000 American citizens whom the U.S. Attorney General had designated as national security threats. And if you realize, this is why Donald Trump came with the law of saying that basically all of us, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we're all undocumented immigrants compared to them. You see, even if our parents came here 40 years ago and they worked in the States, they got a legit U.S. citizenship, right? And now then you were born here in America, and you were born here on U.S. soil, and you're already considered a U.S. citizen. You're still deemed as an immigrant to these devils, man. Just because your parents came from another country and came here and set up shop, you're still being considered as an immigrant, man. You see? And this is why he brought those laws out, because he wants to make sure that all so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are deemed as immigrants so they can push this forward on you. You see? And like we read it, like they said in the beginning of this video, man, Alaska has FEMA camps that can hold up to 2.3 million people. Why you think people don't fucking go to Alaska, man? Why you think they got so much shit hidden out there, man? These are the type of things that they got hidden out there. And remember, you got Donald Trump saying that he gonna start taking immigrants to other countries. So that's gonna be one of the countries that a lot of people end up in. You're gonna be dying out there in the freezing cold, you know. They're gonna be able to kill you and preserve your organs out there. You know, it's already cold, so it ain't nothing like a damn freezer out there to preserve your ass. You see? So this is what this devil's, you know, setting up, okay, here in America. All right. So let's keep reading a little bit. It says these people will be detained at 22 military bases and prison camps run by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, going into FEMA, right? The plan was first discovered by the Christiac Institution, all right, in 1984, and first revealed in detail in a major daily newspaper by reporter Alfonso Charde in July 5th, 1987 edition, all right, of Mayaro Herald, all right. It says the possible reasons for such a roundup were reported to be widespread opposition to a U.S. military invasion abroad, such as if the United States were to directly invade Central America. You see? And that's going to eventually happen too. See, he moving from South, he going down to South America, and he going to move his way all the way back up to the United States. You see? Because right after South of America, right, comes what? Central America. And then Central America turns into North America. So most of our people are in North America, but we have a lot of people that's in South America. And this is why that war or Venezuela is popping off, which is mostly for oil. All right, because this devil wants to he wants to take the resources, you see, and whoever controls oil is a big asset to the world. You see, so he wants to take, you know, a lot of the oil, but also in the midst of doing all that, he also wants to do what? He wants to take you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And a lot of the Northern Kingdom is down there in South America. All right. And then he's going to work his way up, okay, to the Central America. All right. So it says to combat what the government perceived as subversive activities, the plan also authorized the military to direct the movement of civilian populations at state and regional levels, okay, which I can't read no more. I only screenshotted a little bit. All right, let me grab this other part, right, that I had of Rex 84. It says Rex 84, Readiness Exercise 1984, was a secret U.S. government contingency plan from the 1980s, revealed in 1987 to suspend the Constitution and detain potentially 500 undocumented immigrants and American national security threats. Same thing that we just read, right? in military camps during a national emergency, linked to continuity of government plans of sparking conspiracy theories about FEMA camps. All right. So if it's about conspiracy theories about the FEMA camps, well, then they're gonna go look for the conspiracy theorists. You see, and they consider us as radical people, conspiracy theorists. You know, they consider us as terrorists that are causing terrorist attacks just with the word of the scriptures. You see, so it says developed partly by Oliver North. The exercise prepared for mass arrest if the U.S. invaded Central America using military and FEMA to control populations, leading to claims of plans for martial law and citizen interment. Okay, key aspects. It says purpose to test the government's ability to respond to mass civil unrest or a major crisis such as a conflict in Central America. Scenario included rounding up Central American refugees and designated threats, including American citizens. You see, man, this shit was back in 1984. They were speaking about this, already talking about how they were going to arrest American citizens, and what you had not too long ago, Donald Trump talking about taking American citizens also. You have American citizens being snatched out now and taken into FEMA camps and taken to different parts of the, different countries. All right. They end up coming back. But see, that those are all warning signs that the Lord is showing you that once this devil has his horns fully shown, that's what he's going to do. You see? So it says for detention in military bases run by FEMA, federal, we already know what that means. It says discovery, Salakia, uncovered by the Christiac Institute, which we already read that in the other one. All right, so that's pretty much what I grabbed on that for Rex 84. So you had an understanding, okay? So let's go back to this. You
see it right.
Listen to this, folks.
Mainstream media and get caught up to speed if you have in 15,000 currently stored in Montana. Now, you need to go and research Rex 84 and get caught up to speed if you have it for what is going on with the prison camps.
Yeah, they got them in the UK too. Yep, Shalom Malak Bashim Yahushua Brakatah. That's right. They got them in the UK. They got them everywhere, man. They got them everywhere because we are what? Scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man. So they have them set up in every country, more in other countries, in certain countries. America's got the most because this is where most of the Israelites are. All right. But like the brother said, they got them in the UK. And if they got them in the UK, they got them everywhere else. Okay. Because we are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All right. So they have them prepared for our people. And you're going to have some of these 2/3 and shit like that. They're going to get smacked with it too. All right. Because they got to make it look good. All right. But at the end of the day, we know through the spirit that it's made for our people. Okay. Which is a matter of fact, I'll grab them scriptures at the end. All right.
Do you see what is going on behind your back? They've got you blinded by the mainstream media.
Yeah, he made a great point. That's why they have social media, man. That's why they have all these shenanigans, man. All these fucking bread and circuses to keep you busy and distracted from what's really going on in society, man. Because while you're watching all these fucking stupid ass Diddy shows, watching all these damn movies that keep coming out, you know, it's not saying you can't watch these things, but see, you have to be mindful with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua before all these other things that you watch and put your time into. I watch movies. I'm a movie fanatic. I'm a movie head. But my ass watch that shit at 3 in the morning when I'm about to go to bed. I make sure that I do the work of the Lord first, you know, all day long, and then attend to those things. You know, in the process, maybe when I'm eating something, I might watch something for 25 minutes, 20 minutes, you know. But even then, I'm looking at social media news based on prophecy. You know what I'm saying? So we can't tend. That's why the Lord said in 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter, all right, that we attend to the Lord without distraction. 7:35 in 1 Corinthians. right? We attend to the Lord without distraction, man. Because being when you're not distracted, you're able to be focused on what's going on in society. You're able to see, all right, when we're making it plain upon the tables for you to understand that it actually is happening according to prophecy. You see? So, like the brother said, they got him in the UK, they got him all over the world. All right. As a matter of fact, now that he said that, let's ask chat. Okay. All right. As of today, how many guillotines are known about worldwide? And it might not even give me an answer. Yeah, it's taking a while to come up. Okay, there's no reliable global count of how many guillotines, the execution machines, exist worldwide today. Historical use and present day existence. Let's just see. All right, let me try this. How many guillotines are in the United States right now? It says there is no verified number of physical guillotines in the United States today. The best documented reality is that only a few examples, mostly replicas, exhibits, and these niggas. It says, what can we say? What we can say with evidence? No stockpile or government execution devices. It says viral claims that the U.S. government bought 30,000 guillotines, which they just said, have been thoroughly debunked. There is zero evidence of any such purchase or storage. See, here go Esau with his bullshit. And listen, for a long time, don't get fooled with this chat GBT bullshit, man. GPT, all right, talking about, you know, that you really think that it's AI answering you. Believe it or not, there's somebody behind this shit that's answering all these questions at the end of the day, all right? Because AI is ran by somebody, okay? It ain't just a computer. Yeah, the computer's picking up everybody's fucking conversation through everybody's phones and everybody's thoughts and all that. But there's always somebody that connects to being the domain. If you watched like the movie The Matrix, man, when you see the movie The Matrix, the first one, you see when was it the first one or was it the second one? It might have been the second one. All right, but if it's not the first one, okay, they basically had you had the guy, the maker of the Matrix, that was sitting there watching all the TVs. He had his little pen and he was controlling everything through it. You see, because there's always one person that's able to control all of that. So there's always a domain somewhere where it's controlling all the data that's coming in. All right. Now the dirty work is being done by the computer itself. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, all that is being gathered by the computer, but still someone is behind it. All right, that's able to control these things. So when we asking these questions, all right, all these things are based on the data they have gathered together. You know what I'm saying? The person has gathered all that information together. That's how they know how to respond to you, man. They already know how people are going to ask questions, and they already have the answer made for it. Okay, so you just got to be on top of it. The architect, yep. The architect of all things. All right, it says, the hell this nigga talking about? Hold on, let me see what this nigga talking about. This nigga, he old clown right here. Yeah, see, niggas like you gonna end up being destroyed because you think it's a joke. But see, when the time comes that your ass is put under one of those, all right, see, because you're not a real believer. So when the time comes, you see, the Lord is going to put you on the one so you can get your head chopped off because you was a non-believer, just so you can meet your death, you see. But to us, all right, we're going to be put on it for YAHAWAH'S sake, all right? So it ain't no conspiracy. It ain't no fear mongering, all right? Hey, if you don't believe what we saying, you can always go watch, SpongeBob, my nigga. You could go watch, Barbie's World or some shit with your kids or some shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to watch none of these channels, because this ain't for people that don't believe. This is for the elect, those that believe wholehearted in what's going on, you see? And by the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, all these things are being spoken into existence anyway. So the real one that's filled with fear be niggas like you. You know what I'm saying? That's why y'all come up on these comment boards and y'all got so much to say, because y'all are already in fear that your place, your world is being brought down to nothing, man. Okay? And there is going to be shit like Stranger Things going on. Go read Wisdom of Solomon, the 17th chapter, There's going to be vivid apparitions out here, But you wouldn't know nothing like that, though, because, wisdom is too high for a fool, as the scriptures say. All right? So, yeah, you could go back to your little cocoon, living under a rock. Let me grab this nigga and block his wicked ass. Put your ass in timeout, nigga. Right? So, going on. All right. So, let me see. It had any information on it? I didn't really give too much information on how much. They're not going to release that type of information anyway. All right. So let's go back to this video.
A little list of all the camps that are in each state.
Listen to this, folks.
So, like, I want to see what that said.
Mainstream media. There's also a little list of all the camps that are in each state.
It says FEMA disposable coffins found in Georgia. Yeah, and that's old news right there. This is older right here.
I was pulled to the side road, which was a new cut gravel dirt road in front of a business, a builder supply business. And the right side of the road was filled with, which I thought was portable toilets. I never looked at them that close. Same in color, maybe black, but which was an odd color. And I asked him about the field of black boxes. What were they? Because I'd never seen anything like that.
And now that I see these, it's almost like when you had the Georgia Guidestones that was basically giving you, they were giving you your 10 commandments, right? Their 10 commandments that they had. And what was the top one? That they wanted humanity under 500 million, you see? So it ain't no coincidence that they had the Georgia Guidestones out there, and then they have these FEMA camps that are in Georgia also, places like North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. These things are all out located in these places where they're big states and where they have a lot of room to put them in the cut. All right. You go to fucking Georgia and North Carolina. I know when I've gone to Florida driving down 195, I-95, man, them shit is just straight woods and farms and acres of land, and they have things like this, man. All right. They had these things in the cut for a reason. They had the Georgia Guidestones for a reason. And look, they done knocked them down because people were bringing out too much evidence of what was written on those things, man. And they had it written in 7 different, I believe it was 7 different languages, something like that, 6 different languages, So this was it was a Georgia Guidestone that was made for a global event to happen, you see. So they have these FEMA coffins, they still around there. Don't think that they're not there, if they're not in the same spots no more, they got them on the ground. These people do a lot of underground bunkers, a lot of underground cities, that they hide. This is how they're able to hide a lot of their technology and a lot of things underground. And when the time comes, they're going to bring them out. Okay. A lot of people going to be taken to strange places strange FEMA camps underground that you don't even know about. You know, go with all the Diddy shit that's going on. You see it being exposed, man. They got underground tunnels, underground cities, underground ways to get from one end of the earth to another. None of that shit is fake, man. That shit is real shit. Because that's what this devil's about, man. He's always doing some secretive shit and always trying to act like he's exactly army bases all on the bottom underneath. You go to Area 51, it looks like there's nothing in the middle of the desert. But when you go into a certain bunker in a mountain, that shit leads you to a whole world underneath. So they have these things. All you got to do is watch that movie Greenland. Remember, everything that's in the movies is predictive programming. So they're showing you ahead of time what's going on. Just like, as a matter of fact, a good movie to watch that I was watching last night was I gotta finish it, is One Battle After Another with Tiana Taylor and what's his name, Leonardo DiCaprio. All right, that shit is serious. It's telling you what's about to happen. That shit was all about civil war, about being rebels, and basically they were the Israelites that were running away from the government and trying to hide and keep themselves off the grid so they don't get caught. And what did they start doing in that movie? You had the military soldiers started taking out one by one everybody that was against their that was not complying with their allegiance, with their ways, with their society, their image. That's what's gonna come to our people, man, especially the men of the Lord. All right.
And his statement was that if he told me, I would be one of few people in Madison, Georgia that knew about him. And he says they're disposable coffins, I believe he told me. And he says there's 100 at that time. And he said there was 125,000 there. And he said his brother worked with the CDC in Atlanta and had been asked by the CDC to do a 3-year extension to place temporary morgues all across the nation. As I went back to my home office, I spoke of it there, and of course people usually don't want to hear too much about this kind of thing, so it's never been mentioned publicly except just here and there. Because most, like I said, the reaction I got, people didn't want to know about it, the few people that I spoke to.
And the brother of the man that owns this field that the government is leasing this field from to store these disposable coffins, this brother was given 3 years to set up temporary morgues around the country. Now, we found the website that we think these disposable coffins were made at, and we noticed that the lids that they were advertising on the website were rounded. But the lids, hundreds of thousands of lids there, the lids we found, folks, were flat, and they were reinforced. You know what that could mean? You can stack them on top of each other. That's a lot neater to stack them in disposable coffins.
It says the FEMA camps are now being prepared.
Exclusive government activating FEMA camps across America, across the United States.
I'll give you a quick video, right? Even though it's comedy, all right, is reality being told to you in your face. Let me see. Yeah, this is.
Now, we're going to get on Cat Williams speaking about it now. It'll pop up.
Some of us are again.
Hold on. Yep, right here.
America's about what the fuck you do when this shit happens to you. So now,
hold on, let me get a better one. That one's shitty as hell.
America ain't about what the fuck happens to you. America is about what the fuck you do when the shit happens to you. So now, I have to come back and tell my people they finna fuck us. When you go home into your 2012, understand they already have concentration camps in the United States of motherfucking America that they've been building for 4 years now. And the question is, who in the fuck is you finna put in there?
And that's plain and simple. That's plain and simple. And he telling me that shit. And that shit was a couple years back that he made that, which I made a video production on that also. All right. But see, playing around, they telling you the truth. Right?
Sent to us by people in government. I'll just leave it at that. And it's got the 5 regions for the FEMA camps. And it talks about barricades and barbed wire.
And there's going to be more. It's going to be more than 5 regions, because when you go into that one scripture, all right, let's grab that one scripture real quick. Okay. Scriptures talk about the 10th part. This is Revelations 11 and 13. And in that same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to Yahweh, to the power of heaven, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So that 10th part is speaking about, when you look, I got it on one of my pictures that I bring out when I go on the highways and hedges. FEMA is broken into in the United States, FEMA is broken into 10 parts. So you'll have, like, just as, I don't know exactly how the order was again, but like you'll have Connecticut, Boston, all that little area, those couple of states there, they are considered as one part. Then part 2 will be New York, Philadelphia, New Jersey combined together. That's part 2. Part 3 will be, you know, maybe North Carolina, South Carolina, with Georgia and Tennessee all combined together. I'm just using that as examples. That's not the orders, but they're going to be broken into 10 parts. All right. So them saying that it's only 4 or 5 parts is a lie. All right. Unless he didn't realize that, it was going to be broken up to more parts, because this is an older video. So maybe at that time there was 5 parts, but right now there's going to be 10 parts. Automatically, there's definitely going to be 10 parts, because it's biblical prophecy. You see? So it's going to be 10 parts. All right. That FEMA is going to break up the whole entire United States into. All right. So depending where you are, you're going to be sent to the first part of FEMA camps, maybe the second part. You might be in the 5th part. On the Cali side, you might be in the 9th and 10th part. All right. Which I do believe the 10th part is somewhere where, if I remember, matter of fact, let me see if I find the sign. GMS Pinterest sign, 10th part of FEMA camps. Let me see if this comes up.
I couldn't find it.
Yeah. Let me see. FEMA broken into 10 parts in the United States on the map. Image. Okay.
FEMA divides the U.S. into 10 regions for managing emergencies.
There you go.
Maps.
There you go.
These regions, like Region 10, cover multiple states and
Yep, here we go. Perfect. This is exactly how my sign is, but it has more stuff on it. So you see, there you go. See how everything is broken into 10 parts in the FEMA regions. See, this is actual things that are already broken up into regions for FEMA. So when it speaks about the 10th part, is where Seattle was. Seattle, Washington. Seattle, Washington. That is in Washington. You got Oregon over there, Washington. Okay, Alaska. You see, that's the main one that has where they said that you can have literally all the way in this top corner where Alaska is. They said that they have 2.5 million FEMA camps that are able to hold 2.5 million people. So the biggest one is probably the 10th part, the 10th region. Oregon and Washington. All them places are fucking places in the boondocks, man. I believe Idaho's around there also. You see, those are all places that are in the fucking mountains, way in the cut, all the way in the cold. Okay? So, you know, that's how many regions we have of FEMA. And in each of them regions, you can only imagine how many different places and camps they have. All right? Let me read what it says here. It says exclusive government activating FEMA camps across U.S. It says, let me turn it to the side. It says Infowars.com has received a document originating from Halliburton subsidiary KBR that provides details on a push to outfit FEMA. Can't open it more than what it is. And U.S. Army camps. Oh shit! Should never did that.
Activating FEMA camps across America, across the United States, sent to us by people in government.
It says the document describes services KBR is looking,
and it talks about
is looking to farm out to subcontractors. The document was passed on to us by a state government employee who wishes to remain anonymous for obvious reasons. Yeah, so there was just a paper that they had that was given to this guy.
Barricades and barbed wire and armed guards, and it says that they built the camps and that now they need to get ready to staff them, and that they need to be ready within a 72-hour period. And so I want to challenge everybody to call their friends and their families now.
It says 2-2. It says negotiating the corrections. Right.
The new economy is to put tens of millions ready within a 72-hour period. And so I want to challenge
everybody. It says
everybody.
2 and 1. It says policy statement: Army National Guard units leasing facilities from the Army or current state-owned state-owned land or facilities may use inmates from off-post state or local correction facilities. You see?
To call their friends and their families.
Then it says 2. It says negotiating with corrections systems representatives, installation commanders may initiate. I can't see that word in there. It's damn cars in the way. Discussion. I think that's discussion. It says commanders may initiate discussions with FBOP representatives concerning use of civilian inmate labor on Army installations, subject to government provisions listed in whatever that number is, because I can't see it. The car's in the way.
And realize that the new economy is to put tens of millions of people. We already have the biggest prison population in the world in this archipelago, this giant chain of facilities all over the country.
I take you to the FEMA camps being built by Halliburton right now to house 50 million Americans. They're building enough concentration camps in America by Halliburton. Now, if you go out and you find a pink dot.
You said all them Americans is building them, and who's those that are being used for that? Those are the inmates. A whole bunch of, like always, who's always built everything in America? Who's always built everything for these empires, man? Slaves that were what? Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. So they've been using inmates to do this shit, man. You know, inmates that were, that have life, inmates that are in there for 30 plus years, that they'll tell you that you have to go do this labor for the state, and really you're fixing something up for these devils that's wicked as hell. You see?
On your mail.
See, even, brother, put even to that same time. All right, I got you. I'll bring that out to the spirit. This is Daniel 12:1, and it says, "And that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation." All right. Let me grab the rest of that. Right. Even to that same time, even to that same time, and at that time that people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. That's right. All right. And that's the time of Jacob's trouble. Jeremiah 30:7. All right. Alas, for that day is great, and there shall be none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. You see, this is what we are entering into, man. Okay. And it's been here. It's already been so many warnings that the Lord has given you, right? By the ways of these ice cream agents, you know, running up in people's houses, taking them without their consent, taking your children. And that's going to get even worse. I just did a video on that about a week and a half ago, where it was talking about Trump just laid a law. He laid a law down for the ICE agents to get even harder and harsher with grabbing immigrants this year in 2026. So they're about to literally turn it up a notch on all these immigrants in 2026. You thought 2025 and being snatched in 2025 was bad. Wait till you see in 2026 how they gonna rampage on these people, man. How they really gonna come like madmen sparing none. You see, because they want this new world order to be pushed and put in place. Okay, so things are gonna move even quicker. So as things move quicker, things are gonna also move more harsh. You see. So, like the brother put, man, it's going to be a time that we have never seen on earth. It's going to be worse than any time that you ever heard of slavery. You know, it's going to be worse than the times of slavery. You know, it's going to be like shit that you see on movies, but 10 times worse, man. Because in the movies, they over exaggerate. They make things over, you know, they do too much on movies. But see, these things are predictive programming. So they show you in movies how they're going to move on you in these last days, but it's going to be far more than what you really see in these movies, man. It's going to be worse than that. Okay. And these people are not going to spare anybody. All right.
That means that they believe you'll be a good slave and you're going to go along with the program and serve our international Antichrist masters. And that's the problem we have today. This conspiracy is so monstrous, so demonic, that we tell people about it and they say, you're crazy. This is America. It can't happen here.
Last thing the men behind the curtain want is a conscious, informed public capable of critical thinking, which is why a continually fraudulent zeitgeist is out.
And you heard what he said? He said that the last thing that the government wants is people to think critically. See, this is why they want to get rid of the men of the Lord, because we are the ones that are opening the minds and the eyes to the masses, which is really YAHAWAH'S, but he just working through us as vessels, right? But the moment you attempt to grow a brain in America, that's when these niggas get fearful. They get scared, because they don't want you to know who you are. And they know that once we are woken up, they know that it's the end of their reign. You see, that's why this devil's coming down on us with great wrath, as it tells you in Revelation, the 12th chapter, right? Woe to them that dwell in the world, all right? For the devil has come down on you with great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time, roughly paraphrasing it. He knows that his time is up. You see, he knows that his limits, all right, cannot pass the bounds that has been given to him. So now he has no choice, which it really ain't his choice. It's the Lord putting the spirit on him to move quickly, to make his move. You see, he can't even understand the move that he making himself, because the Lord is what controls your steps. The Lord is what mustereth the host of the battle, as the scriptures say. So the Lord is moving the chess pieces all over the board. All right. And as we get closer and closer, this devil's going to come harder and harder. Okay. Because he has a perpetual hatred for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you see? Shalom, Sister Yahweh, Shemel, Shabrakatah. All right?
But via religion, the mass media, and the educational system. They seek to keep you distracted, and behind the curtain want is a conscious, informed public capable of critical thinking, which is why a continually fraudulent zeitgeist is output via religion, the mass media, and the educational system. They seek to keep you in a distracted, naive bubble. And they are doing a damn good job of it.
And that's heavy that he said that. So the three ways they control you is through religion, right? Through religion. He said religion, education, and social media. The bread and circuses. The main one is the bread and circuses. Forget about it. Everybody's caught up in some type of fucking stupid ass show or stupid ass you know, whatever it is, man. They just caught up in something stupid. You know, that's why the scriptures say folly is set in great dignity. You know, everything here is just straight folly. Everything here is vain, but it's set in great dignity. All right. And then the second worst is the what? The religion. Religion, it goes back to the Greek word what? Religio, which means to bind or oppress. So they have you binded and oppressed by just the religion alone, which is one of the biggest strongholds that our people hold. You got niggas, even though Christianity's been debunked and all these other damn religions, these niggas still believe in that bullshit. You see? Because they push it harder and harder every time. That's part of the witchcrafts and the sorceries. You see? And then education system, forget about it. It's his story. He teaches you his story, what he wants you to learn. That's them going back to the Genesis mission of them teaching you their image and making man in their image according to their society. You see? So that's why you have to, you know, separate yourself from all of that, right? It says 250 coming up in July, June. I think that's why he got to move. He coming. That's right. At the end of the day, man, listen, at the end of the day, he has to move as fast as he can because his pride has deceived him, right? And he has so much pride that he thinks if he don't move fast enough, he thinks he won't be able to accomplish his goal. And their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. So he wants to move as fast as he can. All right. So he makes sure that he puts his new world order in place. Okay. Which is only going to last for a moment. That's it. The Lord going to let him put it in place. He has to, because it's prophecy, but he going to remove it. That's when just like the scripture say, just when he's about to fill up his belly, the Lord's going to what? Lift up that standard against him. You see?
Nicholas Rockefeller of the infamous Rockefeller banking and business dynasty. After maintaining a close friendship with Nicholas Rockefeller, Aaron eventually ended the relationship, appalled by what he had learned about the Rockefellers and their ambitions.
I got a call one day from an attorney woman I knew, and she said, "Would you like to meet one of the Rockefellers?" I said, "Sure, I'd love to." And we became friends, and they began to divulge a lot of things to me. So he said to me one night, he said that there's going to be an event there. And out of that event, you're going to see we're going to go into Afghanistan. So we run pipelines from the Caspian Sea. We're going to go into Iraq to take the oil and establish a base in the Middle East. And we're going to go into Venezuela and try and get rid of Chavez. And the first two they've accomplished. Chavez they didn't accomplish. And he said you're going to see guys going to caves looking for people that they're never going to find. You know, he's laughing at the fact that you have this war on terror. There's no real enemy. He's talking about how by having this war on terror, you can never win it because it's an eternal war. And so you can always keep taking people's liberties away.
It says, and Rockefeller, by having this war on terror, you can never win it. So you can always keep talking people's liberties away.
That this war is real. He said, but the media can convince everybody it's real. I mean, you know, it's just that you keep talking about things, you keep saying it over and over and over again, and eventually people believe it. You know, you created the Star Reserve, and
I want to screenshot that.
You can convince people that this war is real. He said, but the media can convince everybody it's real. I mean, you know, it's just that you keep talking about things, you keep saying it over and over and over again, and eventually people believe it. You keep taking people's liberties away. I said, how are you going to convince people that this war is real? He said, but the media can convince everybody it's real. I mean, you know, it's just that you keep talking about things, you keep saying it over and over and over again, and eventually people believe it.
And that ultimately goes back to lying, because what happens with lies, if you tell a lie over and over, all right, that lie gets bigger and bigger to the point where people actually believe that lie. You see? And that's why he does, that's one of the most deceptive things that Esau does, because he's the father of it, is lie. And the more he's lying, the bigger the lie gets, the more people believe it, to the point you turn into a fucking, what's that called? A pathological liar. You see, you become a pathological liar, which means someone that believes their own fucking lies, you know? And then so much of the lying that he believes his own lie, and then he actually commits what he's been lying about this whole entire time. You see? That's hey, that's the spirit that the Lord got his wicked ass in.
You create 9/11, which is another lie. Through 9/11, then you're fighting a war on terror, and now all of a sudden you go into Iraq, which was another lie, and now they're going to do Iran. You know, and it's all one thing leading to another, leading to another, leading to another. Now, I would say, what are you doing this for? What's the point of this thing? You have all the money in the world you ever want. You have all the power. I said, you know, you're hurting people. It's not a good thing. And he would say, what do you care about the people for? Take care of yourself and you take care of your family. And then I said to him, what are the ultimate goals here? He said, the ultimate goal is to get everybody in this world chipped with a RFID chip and have all money be on those chips and everything on those chips. And if anybody wants to protest what we do or violate what we want, we just turn off the chip.
And that's what eventually is going to take. It's going to all lead, as we always say, all roads lead back to one thing, that MOTB, that mark of the beast, all right, that micro C hit, which is the RFID, and that's one of the main things that's being spoken on a daily basis, all right, through different infrastructures, through different types of, witchcrafts and sorceries. So even them bringing these people to FEMA camps and these guillotines, they're for what? For the end result of you taking the what? The MOTB. You don't take the MOTB, well then what happens? We're gonna chop your head off. We're gonna chop your family's head off. Oh, you don't want to take the MOTB? Well, we keep you locked up in this FEMA camp and torture your ass. Because ultimately what they're gonna try to do is change your mind. Okay, and that's why the Lord, all right, said, fear none of those things, right? Let's just grab that. That was the end of that video anyway, all right? Salakia, it took a little long. It was only 13 minutes long, but, you know, the between shit, right? So let's grab Revelations, a couple precepts, and I'll close it out. Revelations 2 and 10, and it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Okay, let's grab Matthew 5 and 16, and it says 17. No, it's lock here. Up more. I meant to say 11, 10. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. All right, and we have understanding of what? Reincarnation. So we understand that we were the same prophets coming back. You see, we're going to be back in here, the reincarnation, the spirit of the prophet subject onto the prophet. So there's going to be some of us that are going to actually be beheaded. Let's grab this real quick, and then I'll grab another scripture. This is Luke 21 and 15. It says, for I you know what? 12, Salakia. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore in your hearts not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. All right, so the Lord is going to put the words in our mouth. Okay, let's grab that. This is Matthew, I think it's the, I want to say, is it the 10th chapter? Yeah, 10 and 17. All right, I'll take it from 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. But be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the consuls and will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that endureth unto the end, right, shall be saved. Okay? So, all right, that's what's coming to our people. Let's grab Revelations. Come on, Salakia. This is Revelations 20 and 4. And it says, and I saw the thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahawashi and for the word of Yahweh, in which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Yahawashi HaMashiach for 1,000 years, you see. So we're going to have people that are beheaded, okay, and it's true, for not complying with this devil's society, you see. All right, which is mostly going to be prophets. All right, but see, anybody has to take heed of that, because see, you being a woman in this truth, or you just being a believer, all right, whether you know man, women, children, all right, you're gonna be treated the same way as a prophet will be treated. You know, we've always said that. All right, you got women that think that because they're women, they're not going to go through the same persecution that a man will. They don't give a shit. They just know that you're one that represents Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, that believes. So they're gonna try to do try to do men, women, and children that are believers just as grimy as a prophet. Okay, but the most of them that's gonna be martyrs and beheaded are gonna be the prophets. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just throwing that out there to be mindful of these things. That's why you have to stay prayed up and pray, that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua have mercy on a whole nother level for us, man. All right, because we are gonna go through that type of scenario, man. Okay, let's grab this. This is Revelation 17 and 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahawashi. And when I saw her, I wondered with her with great admiration. All right, so all right, blood of the martyrs represent those that die in this truth. All right, a lot of us gonna die in this truth. That's why the scriptures say, strive for the truth until death. All right, even if it means death, all right, we have to continually keep believing all the way to the end. All right, let's grab this word martyr just to see what it says in the blue letter. All right, this is a witness. Okay, so you're going to be a witness, all right, onto the truth. So you have to, you might have to be put to death for that. It says one who is a spectator of anything, of a contest, in an ethical sense. It says those who after his example have proved the strength and genuineness of their faith in Yahawashi HaMashiach by undergoing a violent death. You see? Because that's what this devil has in his mindset, man. When you go to Wisdom of Solomon, all right, the 2nd chapter, all right, it tells you the mentality of Esau. All right, what's his mentality in these last days? I'll grab a little bit of it. This is Wisdom of Solomon 2, and let's take it from Let's take it from 10. It says, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not of our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objecteth to our infamy the transgression of our education. He professeth to know the knowledge of Yahweh, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. All right, and we are. because we have the word and testimony of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You see, we have this knowledge that is clean contrary to everything that's of this world, clean contrary to Babylon the Great. Okay, and their strength is things like their law, their justice. That's their justice, their laws, their draconian laws that they're putting. That's the only way they're able to get at us, because the laws that they add. Okay, and they constantly oppress a poor man. All right, even him and his heritage. Right, it says he was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us, even to behold. For his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that Yahweh is his father. Okay, and they are counterfeits. They're not the real Jews. We are. Okay, and everything that he has taught this society is filthiness. All right, that's why she's America's considered that filthy whore. Right? It says, let us, here goes the point. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen to him in the end. For if the just man be the son of Yahweh, if the just man shall be the son, this damn phone tripping right now. For if the just man be the son of Yahweh, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own saying he shall be respected. You see? So that's the main thing that Esau wants to do. He wants to torture us. He wants to put us in a shameful death. He wants to make us martyrs to see if Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is going to do what he's always done, deliver us. You see, that's how fucking wicked this nigga is, that he has that pride to even tempt the Lord. The scriptures say, thou shalt not tempt the Lord. You see, and that's why the Lord's going to take him, put him in captivity for 1,000 years, and after he's done with captivity, he's going to be disintegrated off the fucking planet Earth, never to be inhabited, never to ever be seen again. See, that's horrible, that the Lord take your spirit, put your ass in captivity. Then after captivity, he literally erases you to alter, what was that? Alter, space bar, and delete, nigga. You know, when you, I believe that's how it is. When you take your computer and you want to delete something, alter, space, delete, or alter down and delete. He gonna delete your ass to never ever be seen again. You see, as the scriptures tell you in Job the 20th chapter, he gonna be like a dream that passeth away in the night and never comes back. You see, so it says, such things they did imagine, and were deceived, for their own wickedness has blinded them. As for the mysteries of Yahweh, they knew them not, neither hope they for the wages of righteousness, nor discern the reward for blameless souls. Yeah, they didn't think that we were going to have a reward, because we're supposed to be found blameless, right? Without spot or blemish by the time Yahweh Shai comes back. So to the eyes of the Lord, we're clean, but to this devil, all right, we're filthy. He didn't believe that we were clean and that the Lord was going to have what? Mercy upon us, man. See, and that's just the mentality of Esau, because the Lord didn't have mercy on him. When he took away his blessing, right? And he had no place of repentance, and he cried and utterly cried, weeping all over the place, right? He realized that the Lord didn't have no mercy on him. So that's why he's stuck in his mindset thinking that the Lord not going to have mercy on us. You know, but you've been wrong. You've been fooled. It says, for Yahweh created man to be immortal, the Israelites, and made him to be an image of his own eternity. Okay. Yeah. To live eternity. All right. To live eternal forever. Just like the Lord is an everlasting power that never wearies and never fades. We are created in his image for eternity. Nevertheless, through the envy of the devil came death into the world, and they that do hold of his side do find it. You see? So, hey, man, let's grab with the brother guy here. This is you take it, they'll mock you. I can't think of that verse where they'll mock you, make fun of you for taking it. Trying to remember which one you're saying. Let's grab. Let me see. Salakia. I might have brought it out. Did I bring it out already? It shall mock you. Let me do this instead. Salakia, man. I don't know which one you're talking about. I don't know if it's Job 13. Is it good that he should search you out, or as one man mocketh another, do ye so mock him? I don't know if it's that one you thinking of. I kind of have I know what you're kind of talking about. I forgot how it's quoted also. This is 2 Maccabees 7. It says, it happened also that the 7 brothers and their mother were arrested, and being, they were martyrs, exactly. In 2 Maccabees, it's 2 Maccabees, the 7th chapter, down around 15. It talks, well, that whole chapter actually, it speaks about the mother and her 7 children. Each one of them were martyrs for death because they didn't want to take the swine's flesh of the king. All right. And the mother had to watch every single one of her children get slaughtered in front of her. And the most powerful one with the most powerful saying and precepts was the littlest one, the last born. You know, he came out speaking the most bold to the king. You see, niggas was getting scalped. Niggas was getting cooked in a pan and everything. See, this is the shit that we're gonna have to go through, you know, and that's why you got to take into consideration, as the scriptures say, everything written aforetime is written for your learning. You know, so you have to take into consideration those type of things that are written in the scriptures, because we have to remember those things when we're put into prison, when we're put into a certain predicament, just like they were, you see. And by us remembering that, it's going to give us a boost of faith. You know, even the mother had to go through death, and she had to stomach it out like a man. She was a whole woman that had to turn her stomach into a man's stomach for her to be able to stomach her watching her sons die in front of her, you see. And she was the last one to be put to death. You see, so for, you know, again, going back to you know, it don't matter if you're a prophet or if you're just a man, woman, or child that's a believer. All right, these are things that we have to go through. All right, in these last days, to being persecuted in this truth. And, you know, you have to strive for the truth until death, even if it means the death. All right, and be not afraid of death, as the scriptures say. Fear him not that could kill the body, KJV. All right. It says, Matthew 10:28 says, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. You see? So that's why you have to fear Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because Yahushai could kill your, because unto him belong the issues of death, but he could kill your body and your soul. See, man can only just kill your body, your flesh. Your flesh ain't shit, all right? And death ain't nothing but a translation from the body to the spirit world, because you never actually die, you see? Your spirit always lives on forever, okay? Unless you Esau, where the Lord is going to disintegrate you, and that's it. You're going to go back to the Heavenly Father and never return, you see? And most likely the Lord never going to even ever think of your spirit again, you see? That spirit is not going to exist no more. Okay. But for anybody else, man, you know, when you die, you just go to the spirit world and you come back in reincarnation every 120 years, 130 years, you know, every third and fourth generation. See, we're not going to have to be reincarnated no more because we're going to live, you know, with the law, statutes, and commandments in our inward parts. And where there is no sin, there is no death. That's why scripture saying 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, that death is swallowed up in victory. You see, because now we're not going to be able to die no more because we're not going to sin no more. These other nations are going to still live to die because they're going to be in sin. So they're going to have to go through that same process forever and ever. But they're always going to be reincarnated, you know. But again, you know, we don't fear those that could kill the body, but fear those Yahweh that could kill the body and the soul. All right. And that's what it's about, fearing Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. Martyrdom. It says definition, the suffering of death on an account of adherence to a cause and especially to one's religious faith. That's right. You see, it's about having faith. All right. And we believe so much that if it means death, that's what the Lord has required us to do. And at the end, we are presenting our body as a living sacrifice. So death is a beautiful thing in this truth. All right. To die in Yahweh Shai's name for righteousness' sake. Okay. But to die for wickedness' sake, man, that's a horrible death. You see, that's why you'll see a nigga get stabbed 30 times. Somebody gets shot by a whole AK-47, getting fucking 30 rounds put into him. You know, you don't want to die like that. You don't want to die and struggling, you know, suffering, you know, for fucking air because you did something wicked. All right. But to suffer for Yahweh Shai's sake, that's a beautiful thing, man, because you're going to be blessed with a crown for that, man, automatically. All right. 1 Corinthians, that's right. 1 Corinthians 15:55. Oh, death, where is thy sting? All right. It says, oh, death, where is thy oh, death, where is thy sting? Oh, grave, where is thy victory? You see? So once death, there's no sin, death cannot conquer you no more. That's why Yahweh Shai was perfect. There was no sin in Yahweh Shai. He was a perfect man. And that's what we strive to be, a perfect man. All right. As the scriptures say, be perfect as your Father is in heaven, you know, to the best of our ability, you know. But hey, that's pretty much the point. That's the lesson. Lord willing, it was edifying. Salakia took a little long, but hey, that's the spirit, you know. So it is what it is, you know. And it was, you know, it's to remind us that, you know, these FEMA camps and guillotines are here, man, and they here to stay. All right, and they here for the men of the Lord. All right, and anybody that's, you know, attached to this truth, but mostly it's going to be for the men of the Lord, the prophets, you know. So Lord willing, you were edified. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, call Elohim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bachakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith and doing as good soldiers of Yahweh Shai. You sisters continue to learn in silence, watching the true men of the Lord. Keep praying, stay prayed up. And Salak, the water brother for the for the precepts, for tuning in. The water, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, Barakatah to you and your household, you and the sister. Shalom.